We are talking a little bit about the Lady Gagas and the sports superstars, but the biggest group, the biggest tribes in this sort of 0.1%, a group I call the Plutocrats, are, as you say, the financiers, people in hedge funds, private equity, investment banking, the technologists. So, think about Facebook, Google, all of those new startups where people have founded them young and become billionaires quickly. And then there are the emerging market billionaires, people like Carlos Slim, people like the Russian oligarchs. We're seeing some rising billionaires in countries like India and China that have had this surge of growth, and with that surge, some people surf that wave very successfully.
And your assertion overall is that numbers are growing of these plutocrats around the world. I mean, did you see that as a disturbing phenomenon? You spent quite a lot of time with some of them. You're in Davos now. I'm sure plenty of them are there as well.
Yes, actually, some people were flipping through the index of my book and complaining that they weren't in it, which actually wasn't exactly the reaction I anticipated, but I promise they'll be in the paperback edition. Look, my assertion, which is not made just by me, it's very much borne out by the income distribution statistics, is that what we're seeing is a tremendous polarization of the economic rewards in our society. The pie is being divided very differently from the way it was in the 50s and the 60s. And part of what is happening is the rewards to those at the very, very top, not just the 1%, but the 0.1%, even if you want to take an even thinner slice, the billionaire class, their share of the income and the wealth, particularly in the Anglo-American economies, but throughout the world, is increasing hugely. And at the same time, sort of the other side of that economic coin is we are seeing the middle class being hollowed out. We are seeing middle class wages stagnating.
All right. Well, I want to get the view from Anup Desai, who's part of the Occupy movement. And Anup, in some ways, the sort of real heat has perhaps dissipated from your movement. I mean, this reality that Chrystia's outlining, is it just that, a reality that's part of the world today?
Most definitely. All the facts that she mentioned in terms of in her book, which I really do like, Chrystia Freeland, are true. In 1994, it was two people, just Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, that had as much money as the bottom 120 million people in the United States. And right now, we have the top 500 people in the United States worth as much as the bottom 150 million. And this is in the United States, a country that's supposed to be considered the most affluent country in the entire world. And when we have a disparity where not even the 0.01% have as much as the bottom 40%, we're going to have some sort of issues. And in terms of the dissipation of Occupy Wall Street, I think in the media, it has dissipated. But I think that's because in the American culture, we kind of like drama. And now, since we don't have that drama playing out at Zuccotti Park, a lot of people have forgotten about it. But the people that have been involved in Occupy Wall Street are still here and are still working.
We're seeing some pictures of the protests at the height of it. When you hear us all talk about the plutocrats, Anup, are you angry at them?
Me personally, no, because I am somebody that believes in human nature. And so I think the way society works is inevitably there will be people that are going to get to the top. And kind of how you do it, Chrystia, I empathize with some of the billionaires. I mean, hopefully in the future I want to be considered an eccentric billionaire if that happens. But I think there's a difference between the types of billionaires that we're talking about. We have some people that are the technologists, as you mentioned in your book, that are considered to be people that are bringing wealth and ideas to this country. Then there are other people that are financiers that are considered to be speculating on food costs and making billions of dollars while they're increasing the price of corn and wheat, and you have people in Mozambique that are suffering and having food riots. So a lot of people don't make those correlations.
All right. So, Chrystia, is there such a good thing as a good plutocrat or a bad plutocrat?
Yeah, I mean, I broadly agree with that distinction that Anup has made. I think that there are clearly billionaires who have made their fortunes by inventing something great, which adds, to the lives, to the joy, to the productivity of all of us. And then there are other groups of billionaires who have made their fortunes through something that economists like to talk about as rent-seeking, whether that is financial deregulation, which allowed people in the financial services to accumulate huge fortunes, but actually made the economy for the rest of us more risky and more dangerous and was costly. Or in a lot of the emerging markets, people have become billionaires not so much because they invented something, but because they got the government either to give them a big land grant or a big chunk of natural resources.
And those kinds of people,
obviously, those are more worrying.
Yeah. And those kind of people, I'm interested to know, what was their attitude to their wealth? Were they, were they acknowledging of the fact that this was actually kind of pretty much a happy accident, or once you've got it, you just flaunt it like everyone else?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's not so much flaunting it, because actually nowadays, today's super billionaires, I call them the alpha geeks, they're quite nerdish. Sure, they have their private jets, but actually what they really care about is coming up with a new algorithm or coming up with a new not-for-profit foundation that makes them a thought leader. What I would say, though, is most of them do feel that they earned it, that they built it themselves, that they got it because they were smarter, faster, harder working than the next guy.
Okay, well, lastly, Anup, I want to ask you, I mean, what would you say to the ones who haven't earned it? Pay more taxes, give more of it away, feel guilty?
No, I don't think feeling guilty is going to do anybody any good. I think people have gotten too sensitive. You know, when Occupy Wall Street was going on, you had all these billionaires. And like you mentioned, Chrystia, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that in terms of most of these people want to do good. I think they don't know how to do good. I wish they just had more imagination. With that same idea where they created some of these companies, they still needed the structure of the United States. They still needed that consumer market. There's a billionaire I was researching after I read your book, Nick Hanover, who was one of the first founders, the first investor to Amazon that was not part of the family. And he mentions he did not make his money on his own. He made his money because of all the consumers that bought all the books that made Amazon what it is today.
Okay.
Everybody has to be involved.